Am I the a-hole for ignoring our daughter's inconvenient boundary? My wife, 39 female, and I, 36 female, have a daughter, technically my stepdaughter. But I've raised her since she was 5'19" female from a previous relationship of my wife's. Her father is not in the picture, who has come back home after her first year at uni. She's picked up a new and problematic issue since she was last home for an extended period of time, surrounding laundry. Basically, she has established a boundary where nobody is to touch her clothes. Her reasoning is that she's concerned something will go missing, get damaged, thinks it's just gross for us to go through her stuff, and is an adult who deserves privacy. All fine, we have 3 young children in our home, 9 female and 2 male, so plenty of washing to keep us entertained. The issue is that she has a habit of monopolizing washing facilities to the extent where we're effectively prevented from being able to get any other laundry done. For example, last weekend she put a wash-in before work and hung it out on the line at around 11 a.m. She then left for work 12 p.m. till 10 p.m. Her wash was dry within an hour, and obviously she wasn't going to be back all day. We had a few days worth of washing to get through, so my wife, her mom, took everything off the line and folded it. We got through 5 other loads that day. She was not happy when she got home and said that she'd been very clear that we weren't to touch her things. When we explained the situation above, she said it was first come, first served, not something we've ever said, and that since the next day was due to be nice also, we should have just waited to get through it the next day. That really pissed us off. We've offered her a weekly laundry day, where we'll avoid using the machines so she can have freedom to do as she pleases on that day. But she said once a week won't cut it. Fair enough, but there are 5 other people in the house that need clean clothes, bedding, towels. Other than that, all we can really suggest is that she keeps on top of her washing. If she's at home, we'll ask her to clear her clothes from the machine, dryer, washing line is needed. But like any 19-year-old, she has a social life, work commitments, and is often busy. She's upset because she says we're not respecting her boundaries, whereas we pointed out that while "don't move my clothes" is objectively reasonable, it's not fair for her to do so at the inconvenience of everyone else in our home. Essentially, the last conversation we had ended up with her in tears because we said as long as situations like Saturday keep occurring, we'll continue to move her stuff. Just for your information, we do fold her clothes carefully and leave them in a basket in a communal living area so they're kept together in good condition and we're not going in and out of her room. We normally have a good relationship with her, so this is all a bit unusual. We've asked her if everything else is okay, and she says yes and seems otherwise normal and of herself, and she's normally reasonable, so are we being unreasonable? Edit. So the consensus is pretty much that we're right, and our daughter is being massively unreasonable, and that we're being pushovers for not being tougher on her from the off. We've shown her the comments, and unfortunately she's still insisting that we're the unreasonable ones. We'd never considered the local laundromat and have banned her from using our washing machine for the next fortnight given she's still unwilling to adjust. She's absolutely furious, and wife has ordered a lock for the washroom door to enforce the 2-week rule. Hopefully a couple of weeks hauling her stuff to and from will help her see the light. Thanks very much all. Edit 2, a slightly calmer update this morning. Our daughter came to talk to us and apologized for the situation. She said she had found the transition back home hard, I get that, and had maybe become a bit territorial over her stuff while at uni. All okay. She then asked if she could please have a laundry day and be allowed to use the machine. Her place of work is closed Mondays, so that's now her day, and we've said that she can use the machine on other days, but if by 7 a.m. Tuesday there's anything in the way or any issues on any other days, we'll be moving her stuff. A genuine sorry goes a long way with us, and while the advice has been to hold firm, we don't really want an issue if the situation can be resolved calmly. We've also made it clear that if her things do have to be moved on any day other than Monday, which is totally hers, and we get ANY grief about it, we'll go back to a 2-week ban and there's no going back. Maybe a less satisfying update than the last one, but we're happy we can resolve the problem calmly. She did mention she'd read through some of these comments last night, so thank you to everyone that weighed in. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife's friends I make more money than her? I, 25 male, am married to my wife, Sasha, 28 female. She comes from a pretty wealthy background, while I decidedly do not. My dad left before I was born and my mom died when I was 11. I've mostly gotten over it, as much as one can get over something like that. However, I'm still sensitive on any so-called jokes on that. I graduated summa cum laude and went straight into investment banking. I met my wife when I was 23 and fresh into it, but after 3 years I earned pretty well. My wife is a lawyer. Now I love my wife and she loves me obviously, but her family hates me. Like from the depths of their souls, hates me. I've been called a gold digger, a lowlife, and a few more vague insults on my table manners. I went to a party with her the other day, one of those fancy schmancy things where everyone drinks champagne and complains about this, that, and the other talking about. Oh, we spent so much money on renovations, asterisk, gasp, asterisk. And I got the usual mild comments from wife's family and close friends on where my wife picked me up from. Lacey, I don't think, knew about my family history before. We were talking about dads, don't ask me why. And I got a question on what my dad did. I said I didn't know, never met the guy. Lacey made this kind of exaggerated gasp and went, oh, well, we all know why you're with her. My wife then, don't we? I acted all confused, and she got flustered and just kept going with, well, you know. My wife tried to move the conversation along, but by this point I wasn't letting it go. I kept pushing and pushing until Lacey finally said, well, you two don't exactly have the same finances, do you? And then responded with, you're right. I make quite some more. Lacey by this point was too embarrassed to keep going. I'd kind of ruined the vibe, but the night continued. This isn't the kind of event you walk away from. We went home, which was when shit genuinely went down. She told me it was crazy of me to keep pushing on that point and turn one comment into one of the most embarrassing moments of her life, and now everyone in her circle must think she's some kind of failure to earn so much less than her husband, and I'd ruined everything. But it's not like I lied. I'm just tired of being treated like shit in her circle. My wife is upset though, and I do care about her, so I need to know, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for grounding my daughter for ruining our vacation? My husband, daughter 15, stepkids 13, 16, and I just came back from a 2-week vacation. My daughter is very smart and is very good at a lot of things. She's also very competitive. My husband is also very competitive. My daughter started off this vacation by telling my husband there was Sudoku on the plane and explaining how to play. He didn't know that she's been playing Sudoku for months. She made a bet with him that if she finished the hardest level first, he'd buy her Wi-Fi for the flight, and if he finished first, she'd share a bed with his younger daughter on the trip. His younger daughter was complaining about sharing with his oldest because she kicks and sleeps in the middle of the bed. She beat him and pestered him until he bought the Wi-Fi. When we got there, she'd challenge him to races on land and in the pool. She's won medals at state track meets and has been swimming since she was 2. Every day she'd challenge him to something, win, and he'd have to buy her something from the resort or local shops. My husband was getting sick of losing, and my stepdaughters were upset that their dad was buying her stuff and not them, so I told my daughter she either couldn't compete with her stepdad or she had to let him win. She decided to tell her stepdad that she wasn't allowed to compete with him anymore because he couldn't handle losing. This made them start to argue, so I told her that if she didn't keep it up, she'd be grounded to the resort for the rest of the trip, a little over a week at this point. She decided to test me, so I stuck to my word, and she was left at the resort while the rest of us went out every day. The vacation was much more enjoyable without her turning everything into a competition, but she told her dad when she got back that we grounded her, and he's mad at me now for leaving her there and excluding her from the vacation because my husband couldn't act like an adult. I told him my daughter was warned to stop, but she decided to test me, and now he's forcing her to stick to the custody schedule. Technically, I have her every other weekend, but he was letting her go back and forth whenever she wanted and is threatening to go to court for child support and back pay. Am I the a-hole for grounding her for ruining the vacation? Please leave your comments down below to any of today's stories. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.